All right, let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to do part two of the summer table series. It's basically some of the skills that I learned when I went through the Moderation 365 curriculum that I learned from one of my coaches. And I found it extremely helpful in going from a place of, I don't say I did a ton of dieting, but I certainly did some. And just trying different things, but I certainly was all or nothing. I definitely was like, let me just meal prep everything to a T or be a complete disaster. And so I really wanted help with like figuring out like how to make this more of a lifestyle. I'm not against tracking. All of my one-on-one clients start there. But I do believe that there's a place where once you understand food and what you're eating and actually taking a look at it, that learning a more moderate way of eating is very helpful because we don't need one more thing to be thinking about. At least I know I know. So let me pull this up. There we go. I think you guys can see that. Let me make sure I don't have any questions. And then as always, you guys can just jump in and ask me as we go. So again, this is part two. I'm giving you actual strategies and tools to use as you go through this. The goal of the season is to get through pool days, cookouts, vacations without white knuckling it, and also not then like eating the things that you want and then spending 3 days hating yourself because that's what you did. You ate too much. So it's a lifestyle approach to nutrition so summer doesn't derail you, and also any time of the year. So last call that we did, we talked about the DIS scale, which is the deprivation to satisfaction scale. DNCs, which is your daily nutritional commitments, the satisfaction scale, and we're going to go into the satisfaction scale a little bit more, and preemptive cheats to kind of keep you satisfied and be proactive in keeping yourself satisfied. So we are going to go through the next stage of the Moderation 365. It's a method that helps you learn your own body and how it responds to certain foods based on biofeedback. So you can eat healthy, stress-free with a burger in one hand and a margarita in the other without feeling like you have to track every single bite you put in your mouth. I don't know about you guys, and everybody gets to choose, their own path, but I see a lot of women who look amazing on Instagram, and I'm like, I wouldn't want their life. Like, I don't want to have to feel like for the rest of my life I have to track every morsel that I put in my mouth. I don't want to walk around with Tupperware. I don't want to track when I'm on vacation. I wanted to learn a way to do this in a way that still kept the physique that I wanted, but the lifestyle that I wanted as well. So today we're going to talk about the tools of mindfulness. And I'll give you an example of this. We actually already do this in the sessions. Exposure therapy, which is probably one of the scariest practices for people, and intermittent sampling. So we'll go into those. So why mindfulness? It's based on biofeedback cues instead of food rules that we all have, right? So your body already knows how hungry, full, and satisfied it is wherever you're at, whether it be at the barbecue or while you're sitting at your desk. Your job is just to learn how to listen to the cues that it's giving you. So you're going to tune into cravings, satiety, and energy levels. And it actually takes less effort than counting every macro at your cousin's cookout. And a lot of times I think the feedback that I will sometimes get is just like, I don't want to have to think about this. And I'm like, it's literally a scan. And I'm going to show you how easy it is. We do this in class all the time. What I want you to do is right this very second, I want you to see what is the sensation of the bottom of your feet right now. That's it. Can you feel anything? Are your feet flat on the ground? Are they kicked up on the couch? Can you feel your socks? Are they in shoes? What is the sensation? Can you even feel anything? That was just like that. You knew instantly, as soon as I even got the sentence out, you knew what that sensation is, right? So it's just a quick check-in, how you're feeling wherever you are. And yes, it could be standing at the dessert table. And it takes you from obsessive thinking, and it also keeps you away from your brain completely shutting down to just mindfulness, which is really just a very quick scan. So we're going to do this really quick. And you can do this before you eat. A lot of my clients that when we go, again, when they first come to me for a one-on-one, I do have them do tracking because as a coach, I need to see what they're doing. But when we move into them not tracking, one of the things that we have them do is just run quick scans. And so for a lot of them, they will actually set their clock and things like that. We'll talk about that. So you're just going to do a quick scan. So how hungry am I right now? I want you to think about it. You can do this before you load your plate. You can do it right now. How hungry am I? On a scale from 1 to 10. Usually you can tell, like, meh, like right now, I'm not super hungry, but I know in the next hour, hour and a half, I'm gonna be hungry, I'm gonna be ready to eat. So kind of gauge where you're at. I do this when we travel, right? It's like, okay, when am I gonna need to eat? How full am I right now? Same thing, just from the other angle. Am I craving this, or am I just reaching for it because everyone else is, or because I'm bored, or because maybe I didn't have a good night's sleep, or maybe I'm stressed, or maybe I'm trying to distract myself, right? If I'm craving something, so like usually in the afternoon is when mine hits, and it could be sweet or something crunchy, and usually I'll just run a quick scan. Am I actually wanting this thing, or is my body just saying, hey, you're tired? Or hey, you've been sitting at this desk for 3 hours and maybe you just need to get up and you're just trying to distract yourself. So you can just run a quick scan. How satisfied do I feel with this meal? You can run a quick scan after you eat, right? It's like, okay, where are we at on that satisfaction scale and the fullness scale? And is my energy stable, or did that third mimosa knock me sideways? This is actually how I moved away. And this is really, it's how I decided my DNCs was based on how I was feeling. And it's also really what helped me move away from alcohol. I still drink it, but I don't drink it all the time because I just wanted to be a different person and I wanted to feel different. And so I just started to pay attention to how my energy levels were. When I eat, I pay attention to how I feel, what my energy levels are. I pay attention. I don't like that stuffed feeling. I don't care how good something is. Every now and then I'll eat something and I'm like, that was too much. But it's pretty rare because I don't like that feeling, right? So you just run a quick scan and go, okay, how am I actually feeling? And it doesn't take very long in order to do it. So here are the tools. It's prompting, it's not policing. So again, a lot of times I'll have my clients when they first start this is just set an alarm at different times of the day. You can do this on, this says a beach day. It could be whenever you want. But in the beginning, you kind of need something to prompt you that says, hey, how are you feeling right now? What are you hungry? Are you satisfied? How are you feeling in terms of biofeedback? When it goes off, you're just going to ask that mindfulness question, and it only takes one. Am I hungry? Am I craving? How's my energy? Just do one, answer it, move on. And your job is not to judge the answer. You literally are the detective. We're just gathering data. So you're just going to run these little scans. So let's move on to exposure therapy. This is where I get a lot of pushback, only because I think a lot of women have fear of certain foods. There are certain trigger foods that kind of trigger us. And you have to know that the saltier, the sweeter, the crunchier, that's how manufacturers build foods, is it literally lights up the pleasure centers of your brain and you will want more. So the more tasty something is, the greater the chance is that you're going to want more of it. So the trick is to go, okay, well, how can I set myself in a place where I can have bites of the things that I really want, but not be afraid of them, like I can't be around them because I don't have any control, right? So exposure therapy is strategic exposure to these trigger foods and doing that long enough that they lose their luster. They get pulled off the pedestal, the food pedestal, so that you're no longer scared of certain foods. Nothing is off the table. There are no forbidden foods. There are no foods that you're like, I just can't keep them in the house, because you're around them so much that they literally lose their appeal. You're just like, yeah, whatever. It's whatever. So you can now keep these foods in the house in the summer, over the holidays. It's not a big deal because you just like, they're just food and you like them. And sometimes you might overeat a little bit, but it's not like I've lost control type of a thing. And this is literally, and you guys have heard me talk about like the pastries and stuff like that. This is literally how I did it, is that I just was like, all right, I'm not going to fight this anymore. They're there. And I've got to learn how to do this. Now, I will tell you that in the beginning, I overate them. I would plow through a bunch of them at a time. And it just took practice in telling myself, I'm not going to become the person who can't have these things at my house. And now I can have all of those things in my house. Half the time when we have stuff out, I forget that it's there. We can have stuff that's sitting there. A lot of times, like I'll go get pastries or like whatever, and I'll cut them up into little pieces, little bite-sized pieces, and I'll put them in the freezer. So that way, anytime I want something sweet, I just pop one and I keep moving, and I'll forget that they're in the freezer. And I'm a sweet tooth person, right? So you just got to expose yourself to them. So here it is in practice. And we'll go through and kind of you're going to pick one is the goal is you keep the food in your house that you're afraid that you're going to overeat. And I remember this one client really sticks out in my head. It was trail mix, but it had like the M&Ms in it and whatever. And she was like, I cannot keep that in the house. And I'm like, well, why? She's like, because I plow through it. I just eat it. And I was like, okay, so you're going to keep it in the house. And she was really scared at first. And she got mad at me at first too. But the goal is to take a few bites and then put it away. Now, after that, you got to wait at least 20 to 30 minutes. And in the beginning, when you ask the question, do I want more? The answer is going to be yes, right? Because it's your trigger food. You're like, yes, I want more. But it's not about how many times you go back and eat it. It's teaching yourself how to wait and also teaching yourself that it's still there. We're going to talk about, food scarcity in a second too, but it's about getting your reps in about it not being perfect all the time. So what will happen in the beginning is you will go back repeatedly and you'll keep thinking about it. Oh, there's more. It's sitting there. It's sitting there. What time is it? 5 minutes, right? Like you're going to think about those things. But over time, it does lose its luster and you suddenly forget that it's even there. And it does take some practice. It's less stress. It means less binging. And it means that you'll be able to do that at home and also anywhere that you go. So the goal is, again, to stay in that 80% full. It's the mindfulness practice. We actually did talk about this last time. It's the cue of, could I eat more? Sure. And yes, it's a little bit hard because food can be very yummy, and especially here in summer. But the feeling gets familiar with practice. That feeling of like, I could eat more. I do want more of that thing. But what you do is you practice surfing the disappointment of not eating it. It's like, oh. And what will happen is over time, like in the beginning, it will be kind of gnawing at you. But over time, it will just come through. You process it and it goes right back out. So you practice surfing that disappointment of like, well, I'm not going to eat it right now. I'm going to wait 20 to 30 minutes, right? The other thing you can do, I'll do this at restaurants, is like when I'm full, instead of sitting there looking at it and then kind of like picking at stuff, I'll throw a napkin over it if I'm like, no, I really don't want to eat any more of this. Or I'll throw a napkin over and I'll push it kind of away from me. Gum and mints, I don't really do that one. I do more of the like napkin over and kind of just get it away from me so I don't pick at it. But you just got to find those strategies that help you learn how to stop at that 80% full so that nothing is off the table. Now, the lady I was talking about did plow through several bags of this trail mix. And she was very upset at first because, of course, they're high fat and they're sugar. And she just thought I was a terrible coach for a couple of days because she was like, the scale is going up. And she was freaking out. And we're talking like maybe 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds, which is not fat, by the way. But it freaked her out, right? Like it really poked her trigger there. So what do you do when you overeat? And you will, you stop and you take that side of your brain and go, nothing is irreversible. There's nothing that I can do that's going to completely mess this up. Your metabolism is not that fragile. In fact, a lot of times when I do have clients that we are tracking, I give them a range instead of a set number. So they get used to seeing that like there isn't a perfect number that you need to hit. Your metabolism is way more dynamic than that, right? So it's always auto-regulating. So there's nothing that you can do that's going to like literally just screw it up, especially within a couple of days. What matters is the 80% of what you are actually doing. So you want to resist the urge to tighten up the next morning. So when I was overeating all of these pastries, what I had to do, and it took practice, was resist the urge to be like, I got to tighten this up tomorrow, right? And instead, I would just run an evaluation and go, okay, so that was too many, and I don't want to do that again. Is there something that I need to do to set this up so that I can slow that down? And the first thing you look at is, did I get enough sleep? Sleep affects everything. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're going to crave sugar. Your body wants the carbohydrates, it wants the insulin, right, to help lower cortisol. So it's going to ask for those things just in order to calm itself. So you take a look at that. Could that be something? Is this a stress response? Am I feeling a little bit more stressed than normal? And so my body, my nervous system is trying to basically find a way to calm itself. Are there ways that I can do these preemptive cheats to where even though I still want those things, I will want less of them? And for me, that answer always is, did I get enough protein? Did I get enough fiber? Right? So like if I look at in the afternoon, I'm really craving something sweet. I'm going to look at my lunch and go, did you get enough protein? Did you get enough fiber? Did you drink enough water this morning? Right? So those are the things I'm going to look at. I'll also look at the volume of exercise. I've noticed this a lot lately because I'm doing a lot of recording of workouts. And so I try to shift my workouts just a little bit in order to be able to do that extra volume so that I'm not completely overdoing it. And sometimes I miss the mark. And so it'll send me into like, I'm hungry. So you just got to kind of look at it and go, okay, am I doing something where I can change that a little bit? What is my emotional, my mental state? So you look at those and then go, okay, so instead of tightening up and saying I can't have, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to look at how I can set myself up to be more successful. And then you just got to get the reps in from there. So this week, how you can put this into practice is I want you to choose, and I would love to hear what you guys like if you know what your food is. Choose your one food that you're worried about having around this summer. Is it ice cream? Is it chips? Is it trail mix? Is it pastries? Is it booze? Is it like, what is your one thing that you're afraid to have around the house? And then I want you to give yourself permission to have at least one serving every single day. And then you're going to evaluate every day. How did it go? And what you can expect is if you chose the thing that you have the hardest time with in the beginning, it's going to go horribly. You're going to be like, I ate all of it, right? But with practice and evaluating, it does get better. I got a couple. Salt and pepper kettle chips. Oh, yeah, that salt and the crunch. That's a good one, Heather. I like that one. And then Jess asked, even something that has 48 grams of sugar in one serving? Yep. You just have a little bit, and then you just got to monitor the rest of the sugar the rest of the day. You are tracking, so keep that in mind. But like we talked about, when you have something that has that much sugar in it, it is going to light those pleasure centers up. So what I would do, Jess, in that case, is I would make sure that you got enough protein, water, and fiber in before you have that serving, and then see how it goes. Ruffles. Oh my gosh, Rebecca, Ruffles. Ruffles is still me. I have to be careful with that one. Cheez-Its also. Yep. Right? So pick your one thing. These are all really good because they've got that like sodium and the crunch. All of these are going to set your little pleasure centers on fire, and you can expect that you're going to plow through some boxes of crackers and chips. But you just got to practice it. Just stick with it. So that I want you to practice this week. We're going to talk about the abundance mindset and old food narratives, rewriting the stories that keep you white knuckling. So some of the old narratives, and you'll notice like which ones like really stand out. This is a special occasion. Like a lot of times when you're on vacation, right? It's like, oh, but this is a special vacation, like a special event. Like I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation. Why would I eat a salad, right? Like when I can have this thing. So it's putting again that food on a pedestal, or the occasion on a pedestal. I won't get to eat this again, right? If you go this is a big one when people go to like Italy and they're like, it's gelato. I'm never gonna get this again. You're gonna get it again. May not be from Italy, but you're gonna have really good gelato again. Will there be enough? This one was a big one for me. Growing up, family afford, didn't have a lot of money, and so there wasn't always extra servings. So we had to divvy it up, right? So it was like, oh, like get what you can get while you can get it. I need to get my money's worth. I had lots of clients that do this. If you go to a buffet or special events. It's just like, oh, I got to get my money's worth. I paid for this, and so then they end up overeating. Um, Calories don't exist on vacation, obviously. Um, I think you should definitely enjoy vacation, but it doesn't mean that you have to overindulge. So it's finding that space. So for me, again, and a lot of these could be for you too, is clean your plate. That was another one. You don't leave food on your plate. You clean your plate. You take it, you eat it, right? So one of the things is learning, we've talked about it, like eating to 80% full and leaving some food on your plate. Not only is it hard because you like the food and you're like, I gotta finish it, but if you are like me, you were literally brought up to clean your plate. And so you're fighting both of those things at the same time. So you just gotta kind of take a look at some of the food narratives that you have that maybe you grew up with and go, okay, where are some of these coming with? The I need to get my money's worth is a really big one. I hear that a lot. Special occasion syndrome, this is basically associating a place or moment with a food and assuming you have to eat it to get the full experience. And one of the best examples is popcorn at the movies, right? Going to the movies and not heading to the concession stand, or going to a baseball game and not getting a hot dog. Like going to these places and you associate the food for the full experience, whether it's popcorn at the movies or grandma's pumpkin pie or elephant ears at the fair, getting a drink by the pool, s'mores by the fire, and start to just look at what you're doing going, okay, am I doing this because I actually want the thing, or am I doing it because I think that it's going to make this experience better and I don't know how to. It took me a while to be able to go to the movies and not get popcorn. Full transparency. I can do it now and be fine. I still want it sometimes, and I do still get it sometimes. But when you practice not needing it, all of a sudden you realize like I can see how that my brain is just like, oh, we're at the movies. That's just what you do, right? Um, just when you break it in half, don't all the calories and fat fall out? I don't know what you're talking about, Jess. When you break what in half? Like if you have like
Anything, a cookie or a donut or any of that stuff, it all
all
falls
of the
out.
calories and fat fall out of it. I don't know. I don't think so, but I wish. You're so funny. So has it honestly, has anybody ever had an issue where, or ask yourself, can I go to, does anybody have this issue? Can you go to the movies and not eat popcorn? Am I the only one? That it took me a while to learn this one. Um,
I could only do it because I started going to the movies every other Thursday with friends and they didn't get popcorn. And so then I didn't get popcorn. And that was my practice. It took the buddy system. They didn't
yeah,
know they were helping me.
but you noticed it, huh?
Oh yeah.
I don't think I could. I don't think I could do it.
It takes practice because it's just a kind of a natural reaction. You do the kids pack, so it's a very small bag, small drink, and a candy. There you go. But could you not? I love that you do that. I think that's a great choice. But yeah, you could not do it, right? And how could you do that? You set it up, you do the preemptive cheat. You're like, okay, I'm going to the movies and I'm going to try. I don't really want to have those things. The smell of the popcorn, right? But you just make sure you're really satisfied before you go. And that's typically how I do it. Is I just make sure that I'm super satisfied before I go. So that way, even if I do eat it, it's like I don't eat that much. I'm doing pretty good. So you just want to look at this special occasion syndrome and go, okay, how often am I actually doing this? Tools for abundance. This also was a hard one for me. I don't know about y'all, but I do not still, even with practice, I still don't like this. I do not like it when people take food off my plate. When I first started dating Michael, he and he's here, so he might hear me talk about this. But he would we would go to restaurants and we'd order stuff, and he would get like whatever he was gonna get, and I would get chicken or whatever, and try and make a better choice. And in those moments, I'll order sweet potato fries. And I'm like, that's my starch. That is my like thing. And he would reach across and start eating my fries. And when we first started dating, I wanted to grab my fork and be like, stop, stop, stop touching my food. But it took practice, and I realized like, oh, I am used to growing up in a household where that's like food. This is my food, and I'm trying to get as much as I could get, right? And so sharing food was like a big no. I was like, oh, I'm not going to share my food. And through this, through the moderation 365, I did learn how to share. And it was funny because I remember Jill said one time, she was like, Jen, like literally, you could order more fries. Like if he literally ate every single one of your fries, you could just order more, right? And I'm like, yeah, I could. I never have because he doesn't eat them all and I don't need them all and I don't even want them all, right? So it's just that like that mental like, oh, mine, right? So you kind of have to ask yourself. And one of the things that actually also helped me is that when I go to Arizona, they're big food sharers. And so I love this because they'll get ice cream or cakes or anything like, or if they order out or whatever, they may get a cheeseburger or something else that looks really yummy. And they're all really good about like, hey, do you want to bite? And I'm like, yes. And so I'll get a couple sips of a milkshake or a little bit of ice cream that I really wanted without getting like the whole thing. And that helped me learn like I can share both ways. Like someone is going to share with me and now I am okay sharing, but it does always kind of give me a quick little ping that I'm like, you can order more, Jen. It's okay. There's plenty of food. So sharing food, knowing that there's plenty of abundance, surf the urge. You can always order more. The elephant ears are always going to be there next summer. There's also more of them right now that you could go back and have. And permission-based eating is saying yes more than you say no. Instead of, I can't have that, that's bad food. It's permission-based saying, I can have that. What's the best way for me to do that so that I don't overindulge? So you're just taking a quick second to set that up. Choices versus decisions. Decisions, this one took me a little bit to really get. Decisions are considering where you are and the specialness of the situation. I'm at the movies, I'm on vacation, it's a holiday versus choices, right? Knowing who you are, you're solid in your nutrition ahead of time. You're poolside at the cabin, 3 margaritas in. Those are choices, right? It's really the choice is knowing who you are. And I will say that one of the things that also takes practice is knowing who you are in a social situation where you're going to be around food pushers. That happens to me all the time, but I'm pretty good about shutting it down just because of knowing who I am. But I think that that's a hard one for a lot of women because you feel the need to explain your choice, which only makes it worse, right? Oh, I'm working on eating healthier, or oh, I'm cutting back on this. And then they're going to give you, oh, it's the vacation. Oh, it's one time, or oh, it's not going to hurt you. Or I've had people say, look at you, how skinny you are. Girl, eat. I've heard that one, right? So you just kind of have to know who you are and not, my recommendation is to not over explain, to not really just say like what you're doing, because then you're openly inviting people to give you their opinion of what you're doing. And that makes it weird. So instead, if I'm in a situation and I don't want something, I just say, no, thank you. I'm good. And that works. And I just say it like I mean it, right? It's rare that I'm going to get a ton of pushback on that. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm full. I really don't want any more. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm positive, right? And people will leave me alone. Now, yes, some of you may be thinking because I'm in fitness and people are like, oh, she's in fitness. But I've also had people push because I'm in fitness. So I do get it both ways. I think a lot of it is just because I know I've done this long enough that I'm like now people, I think it's the energy with which I say it, that they just don't push a ton. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. They just don't push a ton. So it's really about eating moderately anywhere and anytime. You start with your protein, veggies, and water. Make sure that you are satiated, right? You figure out, are you carbs versus fats? What are your non-negotiables? So those are your DNCs. And then you intermittent sample. Like I'm just going to have little treats here and there. I'm going to figure out like what keeps me not only satiated, but also satisfied. So this week, how you put abundance into practice. Aside from picking your trigger food that you're going to practice with, I want you to look at what your old food narratives are and where did they come from? You probably figured out a couple of them already. And where do you find yourself in scarcity? Where are there moments you're like, oh, I have to have this because it's going to go away. I'm only going to get it at this time, right? Like turkey for Thanksgiving was a big one, right? It's like you could literally go buy a turkey anytime. And then what mantra brings you back to abundance? And I wouldn't say that I have a mantra, but I do literally just think like I can literally have this anytime I want. I can literally have turkey and stuffing any time of the year. I could just go buy it, stovetop, straight at the store right now. So you want to figure those things out before you hit your next barbecue or social event or whatever is coming so that you are prepared to be able to navigate those a little bit better. So, questions. What do you got? Helpful? Um, oh, this is a good one. I hate it when people serve me food and I don't control the portion size. Um, I get that quite frequently as well. And I just do my best to not. I won't say that I always do it, but for the most part, like I'll just stop and be like, I'm full. And I'll be like, is there something I can put this in? I don't want to waste it. Because you don't want to feel like other people are judging you because you are wasting food. But I just will stop. It is awkward. I get why that's kind of hard. Any other questions, comments, things you found helpful, things that kind of hit for you?
Definitely helpful. I'm just still a little worried about this whole idea of having a cake pop every day because that's definitely my trigger food. And when I have one, then it's like it usually snowballs into multiple.
Okay, but and we've talked a little bit about this, but when you do that, what is the thought? Do you mind sharing what is the thought process?
Um, well, I will go ahead and be honest and say that it's like I did not log today because there have been lots of cake pops because it's been a stressful day and it's like instead of bitch slapping people, it's like I had a cake pop instead, which I think the bitch slapping would probably have been healthier for me. Um, but
Do you
yeah,
feel
it was just
guilty though? Do you do it as a practice or do you do it as a way to solve your cravings and then evaluate it without the guilt?
no, I think there's definitely a whole lot of guilt here. There's definitely no guilt free.
Right.
Like,
So so the difference just is that you're going into it with eyes wide open. You're not doing it as a reaction. You're doing it as a practice. This is an intentional practice. So you go in and go, okay, Jen, here we go. We're going to do a cake pop a day, which is probably, you and I both know, going to be more than one in the beginning, correct?
yeah.
But when you do that, it's like, okay, first rule is the only really rule, but it's like, if I have more than one, I got to wait at least 20 to 30 minutes between each one. And then at the end of the day, you go, okay, five. I ate five, right? And then you evaluate. Did I get enough protein first? Was I hydrated? Did I sleep well? Did I prioritize sleep? Could I have done any of these things better? Could I have made sure that I had done the protein, water, and fiber before I had the cake pop? So you're just going to evaluate it.
Okay.
And then the next day, you're going to go, okay, here's how I think I'm going to do this slightly differently.
Okay.
Does that make
But
sense?
then I'm so okay. Today, what happened was that it's like I got frustrated and I was pissed off and I was being emotional and it's like I was like I want something and I went to the fridge and I got one and I ate it. So I'm not doing that. So basically, it's like if I'm in this emotional state, then we are doing something else and avoiding it. But this is more of a I'm calm. Okay, I'm gonna go have my cake pop and I'm gonna go do it that way, versus letting it be an emotional thing.
Correct. You're intentionally telling yourself, I'm going to have one. And the goal is number one, to run the scan. So when you made the choice today to do it, you were in an emotional state. Okay, so you ran whether it's post or pre, you are running a scan at least now going, I was stressed. And that's why
Yeah.
I did it. Right. So you ran the scan, you know what was happening. So the goal is to not have any guilt after it. The goal is to say, going forward, I'm going to be intentional about it. And I also understand that I'm going to still have stressful days. I'm still going to have days that I crave, that I give into cravings. And those things are going to happen. There are days
Mhm.
I do those things too, where I'm just like, oh, I'm just stressed. I need a whatever, right? But it's slowing it down. And as you practice, you'll just naturally do it less.
Okay.
But the practice right now is to be like, I'm going to have one. And if one turns into five, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. I'm going to put my little detective hat on and go, okay, what happened? Because the
Okay.
goal is to take the cake pop off the pedestal.
Fair. So that it's like it can be there and I'm kind of like, don't feel like it. I'm fine. No big
Like,
deal.
I'd rather
But
have.
it's not something where it's like yesterday where I'm kind of like actively I'm thinking about it all day and it's like, no, you can't have it. No, you can't have it, which
Yeah,
is what I did yesterday.
yep. You could literally just go have one whenever you want. And
Okay.
in the beginning, expect that you're going to overdo it. I remember when Jill taught us this, one of the examples she used was with her brother, Danny, who loves popcorn. And it's literally, I could just eat bagfuls of it every day. She's like, then do it. Just literally, he was like, no, I don't think you understand. She's like, there is a point where you will stop. And he argued and ended up losing the argument because there was a point where he no longer wanted it. He made himself sick off of it. But then he was like, okay, yeah, I'm over it.
Okay.
Now, if you do that, guess what's going to happen to the scale?
Yeah.
Mentally prepare for it. It doesn't mean that it's the end all be all. Nothing's broken. You could eat 10 cake pops a day for the next week, and whatever happens on the scale has nothing to do with fat.
What do you mean?
It means that if you, she's like, whoa.
I know. Well, and plus it's like I kind of hate like I don't know. I hate talking when everybody's on like nobody else is on video. So it's like
Yeah, that's fine. Um, what did I just say? I lost my train of thought when you popped up.
Oh, that she could eat 10 every day for a week, and then whatever happens to the scale doesn't have anything to do with fat.
Thank
yeah. What do
you.
you mean it doesn't
I
have
think
anything to do
that's
with
Carol.
that?
I think that was Carol. Thank you. So you cannot. So what? How many calories are in a cake pop?
224.
Done. She's like, I got my macros down. So if you ate 5 of them, that's 1,000 calories a day. Yep. So if you ate, and if you didn't change how you're eating at all, but all you did, hold on, there's a problem here. All you did was eat 5 cake pops a day for a week. That is 7,000 calories additional to what you normally eat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you honestly think that you would eat 5 a day for 7 days in a row?
No.
Right. But even if you did, and you did nothing else different, we're talking about 2 pounds. That's mostly inflammation and your body just being like, why are you giving me all this sugar? Like, what is happening? Right? Like it's
Fair.
not fat. That food and those calories doesn't just instantly turn to fat. That's my point.
Okay.
It's a lot. So again, numbers are not perfect, but 1 pound is 3,000 calories. So to gain a pound, you have to eat 3,000 calories more than what you're already eating.
Okay.
You can't screw this up in a week.
Okay. That makes me feel a hell of a lot better.
Lean into it, as scary as it is, and you're gonna get triggered day one, day two. Jenna's not, and you can always message me. Like it is. You're just like, I really don't think I should be eating this much, right? But you just every day go, okay, what can I do to make this a little bit better? Because I want to learn the practice.
Okay. Because yeah, I kind of think this is probably a little bit more important than being like, no, 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 you can't have it. Because it's like learning how to just like take its power away. I think that's amazing. Like you
Yes,
were saying, like I don't want to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm getting sick off of eating it. I don't want to eat that many of them, but I do want it to lose its power.
correct. If you're always doing no, 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 I can't eat that, you will always be doing no, 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 I can't eat that. And if it's not a cake pop, it will be something else.
Okay.
There's literally nothing off my table. Now there are things that I choose and things that I don't. Like, but there's nothing that I'm like, oh, I can't eat that, including ruffles, which ruffles are hard to stop, but they're not they're not off the table. So what I do is I prepare around them. All right, how am I gonna stop? I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna make sure I've got protein, water, and fiber. I'm gonna take the chips, and then usually what I'll do is I'll do something crunchy behind it, like even if it's just a handful of carrots or something, just so that I can still crunch, but it
Uh-huh.
changes the flavor profile. So I'm like, all right, I'm up right now.
That's a good idea.
You want to take the power away. So
Okay.
I appreciate you sharing that because it is hard. Like when you're like, oh, like food, it is powerful.
All right, but I'm really liking this idea about the because okay, when on the occasion I don't keep chips in the house just because I'm like I know how I am with them, so I don't buy them. But when I do buy them, then it's like yeah, they go pretty fast.
Yeah.
But it's more about a vehicle for the dip. So the sour cream and like the onion dip that I make. So if I just took that with carrots instead, have some chips and then it's like, okay, then switch to carrots. It's like, okay, that would probably,
So
I
I
don't know.
will say, do the cake pops. Choose one first.
Yeah, 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 we'll go cake pops first. That's the most impactful
Don't
thing.
do like all of them at once. I would just do like the cake. Like I don't know what just happened. Then you might gain a little bit of weight. But I would say choose the one that is the hardest because if you can get over that hump, then the rest you start knocking them off. You're like, okay, I got that one. I literally didn't think I would ever get to the point where I could stop eating pastries. I love pastries. Take it or leave them now.
How long did it take?
I would say an ongoing process. I would say the first week was the hardest.
Okay.
I was thinking about it a lot. And keep in mind, I was working from home, so it wasn't even like I could escape. Like they're literally right there, right? So the first week was the hardest because I was really thinking about it, and then after that, it just kept getting a little bit easier. But I would still screw up, and overeat them. But it kept happening less and less, and I would
Okay.
overeat less because I could slow it down. So it literally is just like when lifting weights, right? At the beginning, you're like, I don't know how to do this thing. And then you just keep doing it over and over again. Starts to get easier. You get more efficient at it. This is no different. You just got to get your reps in of like, okay, how do I maneuver? How do I navigate with this food?
Okay.
Makes
All
sense?
right.
And then you just take all the guilt and the shame and be like, Psh, go. I don't have time for this shit. That is one of my mantras. I don't have time for this shit. Like I got too much going on. I don't have time for this. So when my brain starts, no, 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 I'm like, you don't have time for this. Shh, go away. Go away.
Okay. I will try that.
Yep, it's a practice. So thank you for sharing. I thought that was a really good one. Do you guys find that helpful?
Yeah, very much so. Thanks.
Anybody else? Questions? Anybody else ready to try it?
Yeah, well, here's my issue. So I just moved where I sit at work, and my director now sits right next to me, and she has on her desk just bowls of chocolate and other candy. But I'm a chocoholic. That is the bane of my existence. I've come a long way over my lifetime, but still, it's one of those things. And it's not, I'm kind of beyond the point of where, it's M&Ms and Snickers, and I mean, I love M&Ms. I had them at my wedding, but it's getting to the point where I'm getting more picky about my chocolate. I want it to be good.
Yeah,
However, like today, I got stressed. Like, I don't know if it's Carol or Jess. I got stressed and I had my sandwich, which was very unsatisfying. And then I started obsessing because I know literally 1 foot away is all this chocolate. And it's like, I'm a stress eater. So I went over and I got 4 pieces and I rapidly shoved them in my mouth and consumed them.
yeah,
And 2 of them tasted pretty good, 2 of them didn't. But that's my new challenge is just knowing this stuff is so accessible. And when I get stressed, to not immediately go to that because that gives me my little endorphin dopamine hit and I'm happy
yeah,
and not stressed. So this is helpful. This was super helpful for that and different strategies I can use.
yeah. And I think, and thank you for sharing, Jean Marie. I think the first thing that you have to understand, and I get this a lot too, is when people are giving me their biofeedback and they're like, I'm still having cravings, and I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? And they're like, I still crave chocolate, and I'm like, okay, but if you have a piece of chocolate, are you satisfied? They're like, yeah, then I'm fine. I can move on. I'm like, that there's nothing wrong with that. The fact that you want chocolate, there's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
So that's part of the let's not demonize this. Like it's fine. I have chocolate almost every day. I have something sweet every day. It's just a smaller amount than what I used to. Like I made a peach cobbler crumble thing this weekend on the 4th. It's still sitting in a pan on our counter. And I made it, it's peaches and I use coconut sugar and I don't know what else is in there. And then I use like oats and stuff to put the crumble on top. And it didn't get crunchy the way that I wanted to. And so basically I've just been taking like a little bit after lunch every day and just putting it in a bowl. And I just sprinkle a little bit of granola over the top. And I'm like, good, I'm good. It's fine. Right. So you just have to practice it and set yourself up and also know that there's nothing wrong with having the sweet cravings. It's just running a quick scan and going, why am I having this? Is this just a normal like everyday craving and I'm okay with it? Or is it because I'm stressed? And can I do it and have 2 pieces of chocolate instead of 4? And I think also for you, Jean Marie, the fact that you are getting very discerning is like, is it worth it or is it not?
Right.
I don't want bad chocolate. I want the good stuff.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
that way with alcohol. I will not drink a drink to drink it. It has to be something I want. And I will, and I've done it. I don't like doing it, but I will do it. And alcohol drinks, especially like normal drinks, are like no longer just $10 to $12. They're like 17, 18. If I don't like it, I won't drink it.
Yeah.
I'll either send it back or I'm like, I don't want it. I will not drink bad alcohol. So you just got to get really discerning with the things that you will and will not do. So I'm glad that it helped. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing.
Yeah. 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 It's a process. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Any other questions before we go?